The Funeral of the Legend. Finding our shared humanity in the stories we tell. For 40 years, Felix Bush was not a man. He was a campfire story. In the film Get Low, Robert Duvall portrays a hermit who becomes the vessel for a town's collective imagination. To the people of his Tennessee Valley, Felix was a cold-blooded killer, a devil worshiper, or a ghost. These stories weren't just entertainment. They were a form of social architecture. They built a wall around Felix that allowed the townspeople to feel safe in their own normalcy. But as the film reveals, the stories we tell to separate ourselves from the other are often just elaborate masks for the truths we are too afraid to face in ourselves. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, posited that we all navigate life through archetypes, universal patterns of the human psyche. We have the persona, or the mask we wear for the world, and the shadow, the parts of ourselves we hide or deny. In Get Low, the townspeople projected their own shadows onto Felix. By making him the monster, they didn't have to look at the darkness in their own hearts. Felix, in turn, accepted his role. Being the boogeyman was his own tragic persona. It was a heavy cloak, but it was easier to wear than the truth of his own cowardice and grief. When we reduce a human being to a single story, the hermit, the villain, or even the hero, we trap them in a static myth. We stop seeing their multifaceted reality, and in doing so, we lose a piece of our own humanity. Empathy dies when we prefer a convenient legend over a complex person. The film's tension lies in the conflict between how we use stories. Frank Quinn, Bill Murray, represents the merchant of myth. He sees stories as currency, something to be packaged and sold to distract us from the bleakness of the Great Depression. To Frank, Felix's life is content. To Frank, Felix's life is content. This is a trap we often fall into today, viewing the lives of others as spectacles for our consumption rather than experiences to be understood. Conversely, the apprentice, Buddy, represents the seeker. He is the only one who looks past the folklore to ask a simple, radical question. Who is this man? Buddy reminds us that we are more alike than different. While the town saw a monster, Buddy saw a man whose secret was something we have all felt. The paralyzing fear of being inadequate in a moment of crisis. The climax of the film, The Living Funeral, is a profound act of narrative deconstruction. Felix finally gets low. In Southern parlance, this means settling into the earth. But philosophically, it is an act of extreme humility. He stands before the crowd and strips away the myth. He reveals that his great sin wasn't a supernatural pact or a bloodthirsty rampage. It was a moment of human frailty, jumping out of a window while the woman he loved perished in a fire. In that confession, the trap of the story is broken. The townspeople are forced to see that the boogeyman is just an old man who made a mistake and spent 40 years punishing himself for it. The separation between us and him vanishes. His story is no longer a fence. It is a bridge. It reflects the universal human experience of regret, the desire for a second chance, and the need for community. Get Low serves as a poignant reminder that the stories which draw us together are far more powerful than the ones that tear us apart. When we look at the outsiders in our own lives, those we have labeled, judged, or ignored, we are often looking at a mirror of our own hidden fears. If we choose to look closer, to move past the archetype and into the empathy of the shared human condition, we find that no one is truly a ghost. We are all just people trying to find a way to get low, to be seen, to be forgiven, and to be understood before the story ends. Life is not a series of legends. It is a collection of vulnerabilities. When we accept that, we finally stop being characters in a story and start being neighbors in a world.